El Dia de los Muertos. Monarch butterflies spend the summer in the United States, but in the fall they migrate to Mexico. The arrival of the orange and black butterflies reminds the Mexican people of the spirits of their departed loved ones. To honor those that have died, Mexicans celebrate El Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. We can trace this celebration back to a festival held by the Aztecs. The Aztecs were the most powerful people of Middle America during the 15th and early 16th centuries. Every year they dedicate a joyous festival to deceased children and ancestors. The Aztec people believed that the goddess Mictlantecuhtli, Lady of the Dead, presided over the festival that honors life's beginning, middle, and end. In the Aztec calendar, the yearly celebration of the lives of deceased friends and family members took place near the beginning of August. Spanish conquerors destroyed the Aztec Empire during the 16th century. That time, Spanish priests moved the date of the festival to November 1st. The priests wanted to replace the Aztec rite with the Christian celebration known as All Hallows Day. Today in Mexico, November 1st is set aside to remember infants and children who have died. They are often referred to as angelitos, little angels. Adults who have died are honored on November 2nd, also known as All Souls Day. The Day of the Dead is a festive occasion rather than a sad one. From mid-October through the first week of November, shops throughout Mexico prepare for the holiday. Vendors sell whimsical skeleton figures, often posed as musicians, ladies and gentlemen, or dancers. In the markets, candles and flowers are placed on shrines and graves, and tissue paper cutouts are strung over doorways. Children especially enjoy the Day of the Dead. They drink rice milk and delight in little skulls made of sugar. Sweet rolls decorated with smaller pieces of bread shaped like little bones appear in shop windows. These rolls are called pan de muerto, bread of the dead. Bakers sometimes hide small toy skeletons inside the rolls. A child who bites into a roll and finds one of these toy skeletons is considered to be lucky. Whole cities take part in Day of the Dead celebrations. Townspeople dress up as ghosts and skeletons. In the middle of a town's costume parade, pallbearers carry an open coffin. The corpse inside the coffin smiles and waves to the spectators who toss oranges into the coffin. If the corpse does a good job of entertaining the crowds, then the people might also toss flowers, fruits, and candies into the coffin. These parades often end at the door of a church. Attending a religious service is an important part of the Day of the Dead, too. In people's homes, deceased loved ones are honored with elaborately decorated altars. Candles, flowers, and candy skulls surround the photographs of the departed, whose favorite foods and beverages are served to guests. The smells of coffee and platters of rice, beans, chicken, beef, candied pumpkin, bread, and sweet potatoes fill the houses. Families also visit grave sites. This tradition often serves as a family reunion. Family members work together to beautify grave sites by pulling weeds and planting flowers. Headstones are scrubbed and leaves are raked. After the work is finished, it's time for a picnic. Families share food and drinks at the cemeteries. They remember the dead by telling affectionate stories about them. They might sing to the accompaniment of a guitar or radio. When night falls, fireworks light the sky. Families sometimes spend whole nights together in the cemeteries. In the United States, the Day of the Dead has evolved into a popular celebration in many Hispanic communities. In many Mexican-American neighborhoods, for example, the holiday is marked by the creation of public altars honoring fallen heroes. Mexican and Mexican-American artists have begun to interpret the Day of the Dead in their own ways, too. Each year, the Mexican Fine Arts Museum in Chicago hosts a Day of the Dead exhibit of artwork which brings thousands of visitors to the museum. Just as it was with the Festival of the Aztecs, there is a spirit of rejoicing in the Day of the Dead. Deceased loved ones are remembered and honored as people celebrate the rich journey of life. Number 1. Why does the author say that children especially enjoy the Day of the Dead? A. Craftsmen make and sell little toy skeletons. B. Shop owners display sweet rolls in their windows. C. Children take part in the Day of the Dead costume parade. D. Special sweets are made for children for the Day of the Dead. Number 2. Which word would the author most likely use to describe the occasion of the Day of the Dead? A. Jubilant. B. Mellow. C. Moral. D. Reserved. 3. Why did the Spanish priests want to change the date of the Aztec festival of the Dead from the beginning of August to November 1st? They wanted the celebration to last more than one day. B. Monarch butterflies do not return to Mexico until the fall. C. They wanted the Aztec people to adopt Christian celebrations. D. They wanted to begin the celebration on the date conquerors destroyed the Aztec Empire. Number 4. In which of the following sentences from the passage does the author best support the idea that the Day of the Dead is not a sad occasion? A. Families sometimes spend whole nights together in the cemeteries. B. Deceased loved ones are remembered and honored as people celebrate the rich journey of life. C. Each year, the Mexican Fine Arts Museum in Chicago hosts a Day of the Dead exhibit of artwork. D. In many Mexican-American neighborhoods, for example, the holiday is marked by the creation of public altars honoring fallen heroes. Number 5. Which of the following best describes how the author organized paragraphs 5 through 9 in this passage? A. By describing how the Day of the Dead is celebrated today in Mexico. B. By ranking the events of the Mexican celebration from least favorite to most favorite. C. By comparing the festival of the Aztecs to the celebration of the people of Mexico today. D. By presenting the events of the Mexican celebration in the order in which they take place. Number 6. Which of the following best explains how the author describes El Dia de los Muertos in Mexico today? A. The author compares the festival of the Aztecs to El Dia de los Muertos in Mexico today. B. The author ranks the events of the Mexican celebration from least favorite to most favorite. C. The author presents the events of the Mexican celebration in the order in which they take place. D. The author describes decorations, food, and activities that can be found on El Dia de los Muertos in Mexico today. 7. What was the author's main purpose for writing this passage? A. To share a part of his heritage with the reader. B. To persuade the reader to take part in El Dia de los Muertos celebrations. C. To inform the reader about the history of the Day of the Dead and how it's observed today. D. To entertain the reader with a story about a traditional Mexican El Dia de los Muertos celebration. 8. Which sentence from the passage best supports the author's argument that the Day of the Dead is now becoming a popular celebration outside of Mexico? A. This tradition often serves as a family reunion. B. Children especially enjoy the Day of the Dead. C. Mexican and Mexican-American artists have begun to interpret the Day of the Dead in their own ways, too. D. Each year, the Mexican Fine Arts Museum in Chicago hosts a Day of the Dead exhibit of artwork, which brings thousands of visitors to the museum. 9. How does the reader know that the skeletons of El Dia de los Muertos are not considered scary? A. Many families have all-night picnics at cemeteries. B. Spectators toss oranges at the living corpse in the coffin. C. They are sold as toys in humorous depictions of deceased loved ones. D. Townspeople dress up as ghosts and skeletons and walk in costume parades. 10. In which sentence from the passage does the author express an opinion? A. A child who bites into a roll and finds one of the toy skeletons is considered to be lucky. B. Family members work together to beautify grave sites by pulling weeds and planting flowers. C. The Aztecs were the most powerful people of Middle America during the 15th and early 16th centuries. D. In the Aztec calendar, the yearly celebration of the lives of deceased friends and family members took place near the beginning of August. 11. A student made this chart for an oral report about the Aztec and Mexican celebrations to honor the dead. Celebration to honor the dead. Aztec Empire. Took place near beginning of August. Joyous festival. Theme of life. To celebrate deceased children and ancestors. Yearly celebration. Mexico today. Remember and honor infants, children, and adults who have died. Attending a religious service is part of the remembrance. Candles, flowers, food, sweets, and costume parade, all part of the celebration. Gravesite visits by families. Goddess Mictlantecuhtli presides over celebration. Which idea in the chart is in the wrong column? A. Theme of life. B. Yearly celebration. C. Goddess Mictacockel presides over the celebration. D. Attending religious service as part of the remembrance. 12. In which word do the letters re have the same meaning as in reunion in paragraph 9? A. Ready. B. Reef. C. Rain. D. Review.